Pleasant morning. Hearty greetings from School of Management. This is Professor Rashad Ahmed, School of Management, organizing chairman of this international e-faculty development program on emerging innovative trends in the pedagogy of quality research paper writing and publishing in top-notch journals, tips and techniques from 24th July to 29th July 2020. It gives me an immense joy and fervor to invite all of you to this August scholarly assembling. C. Abdul Hakim College of Engineering and Technology was established in the year 1998. The college is approved by All India Council for Technical Education, New Delhi. It is affiliated to Anna University, Chennai, and accredited by NBA and NAC. This is an institution targeted at holistic learning and leadership wherein mind, body, and spirit are united and ready to embark on a path of lifelong transformation to strengthen society. Our college is focused on providing a perfectly conducive atmosphere by offering both technical and management education, which creates work opportunities around the globe, not just in India. Our college has thus achieved academic excellence in a short span of time and thus and has consistently retained its top position among the district top engineering college. SOM, a department with nearly a decade of existence in the field of engine management education, has created an exceptional reputation for nurturing and transfiguring young minds into budding entrepreneurs. SOM's outstanding features are state of art facilities, student centric programs, and a fascinating atmosphere where frequent participation in management fest, conference, conventions, and seminars has aligned its reputation with international B school and a favorite MBA destination. Dear participant, the greatest validation of academic skills is for all academics to have one scholarly work published in a reputed journal. Gone are days when only being a good teacher was deemed to be enough. A strong record of publications in quality journals not only guarantees personal satisfaction but also opens the door to well established academic learning portals. Research writing and publishing is an endless process. They have to follow certain requirement and how the paper is written and how it is published. The significance of writing should never be overlooked for a productive academic and research career. And the ability to write impactful paper is an important quality for a researcher. School of Management is pleased to organize International EFDP, which will feature most senior professors and experts from renowned universities around the globe talking about research paper writing skills and publishing them in quality journals. The objective of International EFDP is to have a global forum to direct researchers across disciplines in order to improve their expertise in preparing, writing, and providing assistance in the preparation of journal articles, reports in a scientific context and a structured manner. The outcome of FDP would be to acquire in-depth knowledge about the pedagogy of successful research paper writing, step-by-step process of selecting journals and publishing papers in top-notch journals. On behalf of CASET and SOM fraternity, I extend a warm welcome to all the academicians, research scholars, and researchers in India and abroad who have interacted digitally for this international EFDP. I also extend my greetings to our principal, Dr. A. Rajesh, and our HOD, Dr. E. Nanashekaran, for their support. I always take the pleasure of welcoming my colleagues, first and second year MBA students, and friends for their participation. My dear participant, today we have a well-known guest speaker, Dr. Manjeet Kaur, who will share her insightful thoughts on how to develop passion to get into successful academic research and development careers. Dr. Manjeet is an associate professor at the Faculty of Management, Chandigarh Group of College, CTC Technical Campus, Jhanjari, Mohali, India. She has made more than 16 years of academic experience and has a number of research papers to her credit. She has published in reputed journals, including ABC Index Journals, Scopus, and UGC Care, etc. She has a good working knowledge on SPSS and MOS. Her interests in research are business ethics, entrepreneurship, corporate governance, and digital marketing. Let me be pleased to read the requirements for participation in the smooth conduct of the session. Make sure that your laptop, desktop, mobile phone time is incompatible with ISD. Ensure strong internet access and stay away from all disruptions. Use microphone with headset and appropriate stationery such as notepad and pen. Please mute your audio and post your queries in the chat box. Upon successful completion of each session, the feedback link will be shared in the YouTube chat history. The participant will receive certificate who finishes all the FTP modules. Your kind cooperation is solicited. Now, may I request Dr. Manjeet to begin the presentation, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nishat Ahmed. First of all, I would like to welcome all the faculty members to this 1 week international FDP. And I would also like to thank management of C. Abdul Hakim College of Engineering and Technology and Dr. Nishat Ahmed for giving me this opportunity. So today I will be speaking on, I'm giving the opportunity to speak on the topic, how to develop passion to get into successful academic research and development careers. So now I'll be sharing my PPT with you. I hope all of you can see that. So the topic for today's module is how to develop passion to get into successful academic research and development careers. So first of all, how do we progress in academic career? What are the different steps? What are the different positions that we have to go through? First, it is lecturer position. Lecturers are basically it is the entry position in any college or university. Then we have assistant professor, then associate professor, then professor, then we move to university professor, dean, and chancellor. So we can up this ladder, we can go up this ladder only if we have good academic record and only if we have good research record. There is another, if we start our career uh, through research only, then our academic ladder will be, our research career would be junior research fellow first, then senior research fellow, then research associate, then assistant professor, then associate professor, then professor. So junior research fellow are those people who have just joined college or university as a PhD students, fresher PhD students. So they are called junior research fellows. And senior research fellows are all those research fellows, PhD students who are into research for more than 2 years. It means they are doing PhD for more than 2 years. And these senior research fellows, they are also given some classes apart from their research work. Then we have research associate. At research associate level, these are those people who have started their postdoc, who are doing postdoc, they have completed their PhD, or maybe they might be having some experience in teaching in college or university as well, and they have started their postdoc work. So they are called research associate. So they are also taking classes. And then we have assistant professor level, then associate professor level, and professor level. So what are the three main key attributes of a successful academic career? The three main key attributes of successful academic career are teaching, personal attributes, and research. So let's see what are attributes within these main attributes. So if you want to become a researcher or you want to advance your career in research and academics, so you need to be passionate. You need to have passion about your work. You should be passionate about teaching, passionate about research, and you should be willing to work hard, because teaching, it's not an easy task. You have to do lot of work, you need lot of preparation, you need to gain lot of knowledge, you need to keep yourself updated all the time. And then you need to have vision. Vision means that you need to think ahead. You need to think ahead where you want to see yourself in future, in your career. So you should have a vision. For example, you should have a vision that after 5 years I will be having this much of research papers. I will be having 4 research papers, for example, in Scopus. Or after 10 years I will be an associate professor or professor. So you should have vision about your career, about your research work. Then another important personal attribute for a researcher is that you should be a change maker. Change maker, it is job of us, faculty, teachers, to make change, to bring change in the society. So this is one important role that a researcher or a teacher has to take. Then inquisitiveness means one has to be always be thirsty for knowledge, to gain more knowledge. We should always keep asking questions to ourselves only. If this is happening in this way, why? We should keep on asking whys, and then try to find answer to those whys. And this will, in fact, this will eventually help us in handling our class or handling the queries in the classroom itself, because we have to handle young people and they have lot of questions. If we are aware about the answers to all the whys, we can answer their whys. Then we need to have analytical ability. Analytical ability means we should be able to analyze everything rationally. And if we are doing research, we need to do analysis by using proper scientific and analytical methods. And another personal attribute of a researcher is innovativeness. Innovativeness, bringing something new, and bringing something new in the classroom, bringing something new in your research work, doing some new research instead of only doing the research on a particular topic for which there are thousands of already research work and that is already saturated. No, we have to do something new for which answers are being sorted in the academia. We need to do work on that only. Then focus. A researcher always needs to be focused. He has to be focused on his research work. He has to be focused in his profession. Then perseverance, that is patience. We need to be patient. We need to be patient. We need to be patient in our classroom. We need to be patient while doing our research work, because sometimes we are stuck at some point. We are not able to do analysis. Sometimes we are not able to frame our questionnaire. But we need to be patient. We have to show perseverance here. And sometimes the patience is required mostly when we are done with the research, and then we want to submit it to some quality journal. At that time we need patience, because quality journals, they take time to review your paper, and mostly if they review the paper, they will give you some minor revisions. So we should take it patiently. We should be patient. If we really want to publish our work in some reputed journals, we need to be patient. Then most important is we need to be focused. We have to be focused to some specific field of interest. We should not be jack of all and master of none. No. In research, in academia, we should have certain specializations. In teaching also, if we are teaching something, we have certain specializations, certain subjects for which we have total in-depth knowledge, and we are 100% sure, yes, I can go into the class, and if student asks me any type of question related to this subject, I can answer them, right? Similarly, in research also, we should have specialization for some particular topics. For example, I'm from commerce and management background. I have specialization in ethics, business ethics. Otherwise, management is a vast subject. So we need to locate what is our interest area, and then we can develop specialization in it. And mostly those people who have done, those faculty members or researchers who are already done their PhD, their specific this field of interest is related to their PhD topic. So I'm here saying mostly, but it is not necessary that you should be stuck to your PhD topic only. You can develop some new interests as well. It might happen that you have done PhD 15 years ago and that topic is not relevant now, right? So you should look for new interests and just focus on that and develop your mastery in that particular field of interest only. And then you start working on that. You get mastery for that, you read about it, and then you do research about in that particular area only. And another personal attribute of a researcher is collaboration. Research is more effective if we collaborate. If we collaborate with our colleagues, if we collaborate with our fellow researchers, if we start writing a research paper by collaborating with our colleagues, our peers, then what happens is uh, everybody brings something new to the table, right? So there are different perspectives of looking at the same issue, same problem, same research problem. So if we are doing collaborative research, uh, it gives quality papers, quality research. And now moving to what are the teaching attributes of a researcher. Here, researcher, he has to play many roles. He is a researcher, he is a teacher, he is a faculty member, and he has to do department work as well, right? So now as a researcher, what are the attributes as a teacher that he is required to have? So first of all, he needs to be a critical thinker. Critical thinker, he needs to be looking at everything critically. He needs to be taking decisions very carefully, rationally. And the most important attribute of a teacher is lifelong learner. We have to be lifelong learners. Even if we have done postdoc, even if we have done 2 or 3 PhDs, that's not enough. We have to be updated all the time. We have to update our knowledge all the time, and that is how we can update knowledge of our students. So we need to be lifelong learners. So that is why there are even if you see, there are so many people, they have done postdoc, they have doctorate degrees, they have written so many papers, but still they go ahead and they do some courses from Coursera, right? Why? Because they want to enhance their knowledge. We are lifelong learners. So what is a teacher? Teacher is not only a teacher, he is a learner as well. And another teaching attribute what a researcher should have, that is pedagogical decisions. We need to take decisions in a class. So how I'm going to manage this class? So what methodology I'm going to use in the class so that my students are able to understand this topic in more uh, in a better way, right? So we can sometimes we adopt to case methodology. In engineering and science, they some topics can be taught in lab only, and we can sometimes we adopt this presentation, sometimes flip class teaching. So different decisions we have to take beforehand. Before we go into class, we have to take this decision. Then another attribute of a researcher is empathy. Empathy means we have to be in the shoes of our students. If you're teaching in a class, we have to think from their perspective, and accordingly we can take the class. And we need to be passionate. As a teacher, as a researcher, this is what we need to have. We need to be passionate about our teaching. We need to be passionate about our research. And patience. Patience was there in as a researcher, attribute as a researcher as well as and as a teacher also. We need to be very patient. We need to be patient with our students, because there are certain students who are slow learners. There are certain students who are fast learners, and fast learners, they are always moving ahead, they're always asking questions, and but we always want to be at average pace because we have to take care of the whole class. right? So we need to be patient. And then another attribute of a good teacher that we need to be good planner. We need to plan in advance. We need to make our lesson plans in advance. We cannot go into the class just like that. We have to be prepared. We have to be prepared what instructional methodology I'm going to use, what content I will be delivering, so what questions I'll be asking in the classroom, right? And another attribute of a teacher is resourceful. One should be resourceful in the sense that we should not be limited to only going in the class and giving lecture. We should be able to do other work also. We should be able to develop curriculum. We should be able to develop content. We should be good content writers, right? We should be able to organize different activities for our students. So another important this attribute is research oriented. Every teacher should be research oriented. They should have this research mindset, that yes, I need to do research, I need to find question to this particular research problem, and this way they can motivate their students as well. And as I already told, that they should have some specialization, right? As I already told, it should not be a jack of all and master of none. No, we should have specialization in some particular subjects. Yes, I can teach accounting very well, or I can teach organic chemistry very well. So we should have some specializations. So now research work. Another key, we should, as I told you, that three main parts of a good academic successful research is we should have personal attributes, then teaching, then research work. Our research work should be systematic. First is our research work needs to be systematic. It should not be haphazard. It should be organized. Whenever we are writing a paper, or we are starting to write a paper, or we are starting to write our thesis, to do our research work, everything should be systematic in an order, how we are going to do it. In next section, I'll be explaining about the structure of research and how we have to go about it. And our research work, it needs to be meaningful. Our research work, it needs to be meaningful. Meaningful means it should be, and meaningful means it should, in fact, it should add something to the already existing knowledge, or it should contribute to society, it should contribute to academia, it should contribute to research, and it should be valid and verifiable. Valid means there should be some, valid and verifiable means there should be some ways in verifying, yes, uh, if the research is done, so it is true. People should be able to verify it. Yes, the research is done, it was true, the data used is correct, the methodology used is correct, and it should be empirical and critical. Here I'm not saying that you should not do theoretical papers, but theoretical papers should not be like, I have seen in many journals, and people just write paper, it's like they explain some particular topic only and they call it research paper. No, that's not a research paper, that's only an article. If you're writing about a particular theoretical thing, something about a particular topic, then that's not a research paper, that's an article. And review of literature, if done systematically, yeah, that's a research paper, because a lot of work has been done. So if we are adding something new, so then that is a research paper. But if we are only taking the things from one paper, other paper, here and there, and assembling it, then it's only an article. That's not a research paper. Research paper needs to be empirical. Empirical means it needs to be based on some data, and it should be critical. Critical in the sense, it means we have, even if we are doing some review of literature, it can be systematic review of literature, or critical review of literature, where we go through all the literature and then we critically evaluate it, and then we put our points there about the already existing literature. And next is research work should be replicable. Replicable means that if If any other researcher wants to do work in the same field, they can use our research, they can replicate our research, and they can also uh, do research in same field or some other field or some related things. And now there is one very important thing. Research paper is very important if we are really serious about our academic and research profession. Why? Because our published papers, they are a permanent record of our research and passport to our community. Because whatever we are writing, whatever papers, research papers we are writing, they are being published. And now everything is on the internet. If someone wants to know about you, what sort of person, what sort of researcher a person, they can go through the internet, they can search your name, and they can read your paper. So everything is available online. So it means it's a published paper is a permanent record of our research. So we should write our papers in a good way so that we should give good impression to others. So now, what are the different steps in research? So different steps in research are, first of all, we need to select a topic, and then we need to do literature review. Once we select the topic, yes, I want to do research on this particular topic, then we will be searching through our library, through internet, different journals, magazines, what all work has been done on this particular topic. All right, in literature review, then we also see what work has been done, what methodology other people have used for their research on this particular topic, what testing they have done, how they have collected their data, and what research design they have used. So all this we know about after going through literature review. Then we have data collection and analysis. We collect data for our work and analyze the data. Then we start writing our paper. And after writing the paper, then we have to submit in journal. So next slides, let's see how it is done. So first of all, topic selection. So topic selection, first of all, the topic that we are selecting, that need to be significant. Significant means it should be important, and it should be important, and it should be next topic should be important, and it should contribute to something. It should have high significance, it should be of importance, and then contribution that comes into significance, then it should be current, pertaining to some current issue. For example, nowadays most of the research work is done on COVID-19. Not only in medical, even in social sciences. Even I've written paper on COVID-19. In social sciences also, they're writing paper on COVID-19. What are the issues? What are the economic impact? So on economy, marketing. So this is the current issue right now. So whenever we are selecting some topic, it should be on current issue. Because when we go to a good journal, they only publish papers which are on current issue or which are significant topics. And next, topic selection should be according to our interest area. We have to be select topic so according to our interest area in which we have mastery. If we have knowledge about this particular topic, then only we can do good research about it. And topic selection should be ethical. It should not be that we have taken topic from some other person's research and we are almost replicating the same research. No, we can take only idea from somebody's research, but we cannot replicate it. That is unethical. And topic should be such that it should be researchable. We should not take a topic on which it is not possible to do research. We should be able to do research on that particular topic, and it should be relevant and it should be specific. We should not take general topic. Always remember, whenever we are selecting topic for our research work, it might be for our thesis or for our research paper, it should be specific. Good journals never accept journal topics. Specific, your research should be specific and your topic should also be specific. and how we have to structure a research paper. Structure of a research paper, it has to be, first of all, we have uh, you all of you are academicians, you're already faculty members, so all of you know about it, but still, as the module is about it, so I have to speak about it. So structure of a research paper is, first we have abstract. Abstract is 150 to 200 words. Abstract is basically summary of our work, and mostly in abstract we have to write purpose of our research, the methodology used, and a short one or two line result. Then we introduction. Introduction is important because in introduction we are introducing the topic, why we are doing research on this topic, what is the problem for which we are trying to find the solution, what are the research question, what is the significance of the research, what is the aim of our research, why are we doing this research. This all has to be written in introduction part only. Then we have literature review. As I already told you, literature review, it is just to get knowledge about whatever work has already been done in this particular, related to this topic, and what methodologies they have used and what results were in those particular studies. So and then we have methodology. So methodology is, here we in methodology we write down what is the research design, what are the sampling methods that we have used, what is the uh, sample size of sample we will be using, or you can say demographic profile of the sample, what is the age of the people we are taking, what is their for example qualification, gender. And then data collection. In methodology we also write down the data collection method we have used for our study, instrumentation, what type of questionnaire we have used, and whether we have used interview method, experimentation, what we have used. And then statistical or analytical techniques, what techniques we have used, which statistical tests we have used in our study. So this all has to be written in methodology part of our research work. So basically methodology part is the overall design of our research, how we have conducted this research, that is written in the methodology part. Then after that we have analysis and discussion. Analysis and discussion, it is about how we in analysis and discussion we present our results in form of tables or graphs, or sometimes if it's question, it's interview based, or qualitative only, it's paragraph in paragraph. So we present our results, what results we have obtained in our research, and then we discuss those results, what are the implications of that. And the last part is, then in our research paper we have conclusion. In conclusion we conclude, we make conclusion about the work. So what was the result of our this whole research work, and what recommendations we are giving, and what were the limitations. So this is the structure of a research paper, but this is not the proper sequence of how we do research. This is basically the structure of a research paper when we have to submit it. Like the final research paper has to be in this order: first abstract, then introduction, then literature review, then methodology, then analysis and discussion, and then conclusion. But in reality, this is not the actual hierarchy of writing a research paper. So actual steps of writing a research paper, they are: number one, first we have to do literature review. First we have to do whatever topic it is in our mind, we have to search for the other work done by other people, other scholars. So number one step is literature review. Then number two, then we design our methodology. So okay, so on this topic I'm going to do research, and so what are these, what research design I'll be using, sampling method, sample data collection, all this. Then second step is methodology. Then third step is analysis and discussion. We analyze our data, we do discussion, And these are the three main parts of this our research paper. We have done literature review, methodology, analysis, and discussion. So most of our work is done. Now we are at ease. Now we will write the introduction part. Now I'm telling you what are the steps in writing a research paper. So once we are done literature review, we are done with our methodology part, we have done our analysis and discussion. After this, now we will write our introduction, because introduction part is it's mainly writing part only. We only have to write what are the problem statement what was the problem statement, significance, aim. We have to introduce the topic, and also that has to be done after these three methods. And after that, we make conclusion about our work, recommendations, limitations. And once we have done all of this, introduction, literature review, methodology, analysis and discussion, introduction, conclusion, then at the end we write our abstract of the paper, that what is the zest of the paper, the summary of the paper. So ideally this is how this research paper should be written. Otherwise, if we see for writing a research paper, first is abstract, then introduction, then literature review, then methodology, then analysis and discussion, and then conclusion. But when we are actually doing the research work, this is the step. First is literature review, then methodology, then analysis and discussion, then introduction, then conclusion, and then abstract. So the next question is, yes, we want to advance we want to advance in in our profession, in our academic profession. So we need to have good research papers. It is not only about having a number of research papers, it is about having research papers in good journals. So here research work is always about doing good research work and publishing in good journals. So how do we select what is the right journal for my paper? What is the right journal for, if I have written a paper, I was interested in a particular topic, I thought it is a current topic as per my interest area. So now I have written the paper. So in which journal I should submit this paper? So first of all, whatever journal we chose, we have to first of all read carefully its aims and scope of the journal. We need to read the aims and scope of the journal to know whether the topic which I have chosen, that is as per the journal requirements. Do they cover this topic in their journal? Is this related to the scope of the journal? That's why we have to check this. The journal impact factor, that is very important. So journal impact factor, in the next slides I'll be explaining that also. And then peer review process. Peer review process means uh, whether it is being checked by only one person, editor, or there are other persons also who are checking my paper. Because peer review process, that enhances the quality of a research work. Because when other person, two or three people, reviewers that read your paper, they give you good feedback. In fact, review process is a good process because they give you good feedback. They give you revisions. They tell you to revise your manuscript, do this correction. So we should not be afraid of reviewers. Basically, their work is to bring quality of our research work. So good journals, they have a good peer review process. Then another thing is that we have to see the indexing. Here I'm talking about good journals. They should have indexing in Scopus. It should be indexed in Scopus or science citation index, or you can say directory of open access journals, Jester, PubMed, ERIC, IEEE Explore. So what are these these are basically these Scopus, SCI. These are basically, just a moment. Yeah, so basically indexing, these are databases, the Scopus, Science Citation Index. These are basically databases. So what is Scopus? Scopus is a database of Elsevier, and then SCI, that is Citation Index, that was earlier, it was known as, it was owned by Thomson Reuters, right? So it has more than 8,500 journals and across 150 disciplines, and it has journals from 1900, from year 1900 in its database. So basically, all these indexing sites, they have a database of good journals. If our journal is in any of these indexing sites, in indexing database, it means our journal is good. And there is directory, DOAG, directory of open access journals. It is basically online directory that indexes and provides access to quality open access peer reviewed journals. Then there is Jester. It provides access to more than 12 million academic journal articles, books and primary sources in 75 disciplines. Then there is PubMed. PubMed, that is it has more than 30 million citations. It is for biomedical literature and science journal. Then we have ERIC, that is Education Resource Information Center. It's a database of world's most widely used index for educational related literature. Then there is IEEE Explore, IEEE Explore. It has full text access to world's highest quality technical literature. That's for engineering and technology related journals only. And then when we are selecting the right journal, we also have to take care of authors guidelines. we have to go through we have to go through the author guidelines. Whenever we are accepting, go through author guidelines carefully. What is the uh, font size, what type of referencing they need, do we have to keep our tables inside the manuscript, or we have to attach it in other this file, or there are many author guidelines. What is the font style, so, and what is the margin of the paper, everything is explained. For good journals, they explain this thing very nicely. So when we have to select the right journal, we have to go for its aim. We have to go read its aim and scope. We have to see its journal impact factor. What is the peer review process, indexing. That's the most important part, indexing. So we have to first see where it is indexed, and author's guidelines. And now, as I already mentioned, journal impact factor. Whenever we have to submit in a journal, the journal should have a good impact factor. So what is impact factor? Impact factor is a measure of the frequency with which the average article in a journal has been cited in a particular year. So impact factor, it is for journal, not for a particular paper. So impact factor is to measure the frequency, average, how many times that articles are cited from that particular journal. So it is basically used to give tell the importance or rank of a journal by calculating its citations. So how it is calculated? Basically, it is calculated on basis of 2-year period. So for calculating journal impact factor, it is the number of times articles were cited in 2 years. It is divided by the number of articles that are citable. For example, if we have to calculate citation of a journal for year 2018, I'm repeat this journal impact, it is for journal only. So citation of 2000 in year, what was the journal impact factor of a particular journal for year 2018? For that, we have to take the number of times articles were published in 2016 and 17 were cited by index journals. So we have to take the number of times the articles published in that particular journal were cited for previous 2 years. We are calculating journal impact factor of 2018. So we have to take citation for 2016 and 17, previous 2 years, divided by the total number of citable items published in 2016 and 17. It means divided by the total number of journal articles that could be cited. So this is how we get impact factor. The highest the impact factor, the better the journal is. So there are different tools also to find this the right journal. If, because I have given you so many specifications, it should be having journal impact factor, it should have aims and scope, but still, if you're not if you're not sure in which journal is good, which journal is predatory journal, so for that we have different tools to find the right journal. So predatory journal, as I already told you, predatory journals are those journals which they uh, pose as good journals, and they publish your articles for fee. They are predatory journals. But don't just take this that all paid articles they are predatory. No, even good journals, even if they are open access journals, they charge some fee for open access. So but there are different um, different characteristics of predatory journals from which we can make out, yes, this is a predatory journal. If there is no proper author guidelines, if the name is sort of related to some very popular journal, they're just trying to copy it, or if the website is not properly made, if the information about the editors is not in the on the website, if there is no proper peer review process, and the most important thing, if a website says that your article will be published in a month or two, it means that is a predatory journal, because for good journals it takes more than 6 months for peer review process, right? So it is, sometimes it becomes difficult to point out predatory journals. So that is why we should use different tools to find the right type of journal. So there are different tools that I'm going to discuss, and we will have hands-on this practice for the same also. First important tool is SkyMago Journal Rank. SkyMago Journal Rank, that is perfect for finding journals for if we are looking for a journal for a particular category, right? So then we use SkyMago Journal Rank. So now, and it is used for scientific SJR. It measures scientific impact of scholarly journals based on number of citations a journal receives and the prestige of journal. So it means SkyMago journal rank, SJR ranks journals according to their citations and prestige. So now we will go through this SJR website. Give me a minute to open that website. So, so this is SkyMago website, skymagogr.com. See, here on SGR, we can get ranking of the journal as per country and as per citation. For example, if I give some journal name, for example, Journal of Business Ethics. See, so they've given full information of that particular journal. So it is from Netherlands, it's a Springer Netherlands, and I have to go there. They have given me names of 3 journals related to Journal of Business Ethics, but I'm looking for this one. So I will click on this one, and yeah, so they have given this full information. So it is based in Netherlands. It's SGR SAR ranking of Nether 168 H index. That is a very good index. The Journal of Business Ethics, it's both it is indexed in most of the high index directories. It is on Scopus, ABDC. So, and subject area and category is also written there, see. And publisher is also written, publication type, ISSN, coverage, scope, home page, its website. So it means, so with help of SJR, you can find all the information regarding to journal. What is its H index? What is its ranking, country ranking in the ranking of journal in the country. Everything is you can find it in SGR. So this way you decide whether in which journal you want to publish. So So next is CABLE's Directory of Publishing Opportunities. So next tool to find the right journal is CABLE's Directory of Publishing Opportunities. So CABLE's information database, it helps researchers to identify academic journals and what are the publishing opportunities there. And in the field, basically it is in the field of educational curriculum and methods. It has listing of journals related to educational psychology and administration, educational technology and library science, and it gives information about the edition, editors, contact information, submission process, the submission process for same, and topics they cover, review process, acceptance rate, time to review, and manuscript guidelines. So all this tool is related to that only. So we will go through this tool also. Okay, so Cable's Director of Publishing Opportunity in Education. So this is the site. As I already told you, this is the directory of journals that is related to educational curriculum and methods only. So regulatory reports, journalytics, they give analysis about the journals also. But there is one thing that we need to register with them, and I don't have any account with them. But if you want to search this, if you have your search work is related to educational curriculum and methods or educational psychology and administration, so this is the right this tool for you. So next tool is Elsewhere's Journal Finder. So Elsewhere Journal Finder, most of you must be aware that is the most popular this journal finder. So what in Elsewhere, what we do, we just write the topic of our, if we have written a paper, we only need to write the topic, and we can also submit the abstract in its journal finder, and they will recommend you which is the suitable journal for you. And but the only thing is that if we are, they will give you only list of their journals of Elsewhere only. They will give you list of journals of Elsewhere only. So let us go through this tool also. See, as I already told you, current topic. So current topic is COVID-19 in Elsewhere also. So here we have this, go through this website, and here we have about Elsewhere products and solution services, and they also give indexing solution, referencing this services also. See, find articles, submit your paper, track your impact. So we can find books here. What is for researchers? We have different this. Submit your paper, find books and journals, visit Author Hub, visit Editor Hub, visit Librarian Hub, visit Reviewer Hub. So if we have to find some, here I'm talking about finding suitable journals. So here we can go here, find books and journals, right? So the page will take us to that site, landing site, and here, see, there are different, they have given different categories. So I need to browse journals. So I will click this. So here I'm looking for suitable journal for my particular paper. So here I can enter keyword, any keyword, for example, Journal of Management Research. Let's see if I can find it. No, they don't have this journal, right? So whatever journal, if that is, if I write any journal and it is on this website, so they will show their full this information will come on this site. For example, they give type of, what is the type, journal, first published in journal, this ISSN and SJRs, journal impact, volumes, issues, everything is written here. So next tool, is Scopus. Scopus has, when I was going through Elsewhere's this website, you must have noticed there was written Scopus also. So basically Scopus is part of Elsewhere only. So Scopus is Elsewhere's abstract and citation database, and sometimes it happens that the library in your college or university, they do not subscribe to Scopus, so we are not able to have full access to it. But still there are certain these tools we can explore in Scopus. There is free version also. So next tool to find right journal, that is Ulrich's Web Global Serials Directory. So basically, Ulrich's Web Global Serials Directory, it is a bibliographic and published information of more than 3 lakh journal, magazines, and periodicals. So, and it has a full list of top 3 lakh journals, their bibliography and publisher information. Then we have, most important is Journal Citation Reports, JCR. So JCR has, if you had noticed, it was in Elsewhere also, the tools, the different criteria, there was written JCR also. So JCR is basically Journal Citation Report. If I'm saying that we need to publish in journals with good impact factor, so where is the list of impact factor? We get that list from JCR, Journal Citation Report. So in journal JCR, we have the ranking of more than 8,400 journals, ranking of their, what is their journal impact factor. The impact factor of more than 8,400 journals are in Journal Citation Report. And as we have already discussed how this journal impact factor is calculated. So let's see Journal Citation Report tool. Let's go through that also. So journal citation reports. So journal citation reports here. So basically it is owned by Clarivate. See, Clarivate Web of Science. So journal citation report, it gives this report about the citation index of most of the journals. So there is master journalist, there is Web of Science strategic solution, there is custom data, professional research data services. So different resource and their journal citation reports. Here we are concerned about journal citation reports. Actually, we need to have this. We need to have account here. Let's see if it can find this journal for us. It is not able to find it. So maybe we need to have this we need to have account in it. Now let's move to next tool. Next tool that we all are very much aware of, and I need not go there, that is Google Scholar. So this is the most popular tool to find the right journal. So Google Scholar, it's basically a free alternative to Scopus and journal citation reports, and it has almost all the journals in different categories, and we can see the articles. We can go through the articles, even go through the articles of different journals which are open access, and we can see the H index also. And one more thing, here H index is mentioned. If a journal, if we know about the quality of journal through its impact factor, similarly for different researchers, the quality of their research work, that is calculated by calculating their H factor and H index, or and H index, that you can calculate your H index by making an account in Google Scholar. That is the easiest way. You go into Google Scholar, you make your account, you upload all your research work, and then automatically it will search all the site, all the Google site, different directories, different databases, and it will search how many times your this research paper is cited and in which year it was cited, and based on that it calculates your H index. And H index of 20 and more, that means that you're a very good researcher. And don't worry if your H index is very low, because H index only improves with time. The more research work you've done, the more time you have spent in the academia, the more H index you will have. So basically H index, if we define it, what is H index? It is the maximum value of H such that the given author or journal has published H papers that have been each cited at least H times. So it is very complicated, basically very complicated to calculate H index. It's a complicated process. So, but the best way to calculate your H index is to go make Google Scholar account, upload all your research work, and then automatically it will calculate your H index. All right. So these are different tools to find the right journal. So because if our research work is good, our work will be published in Right Journal. And there is one more thing that we need to keep in our mind while submitting our paper or while writing our research paper. There are certain things that have to be kept in mind, that there are different reasons for this there are different reasons why our research papers are rejected from good journals. So basically, predatory journals, they do not reject any paper because they are only bothered about their this money. They're only bothered about publication fee. Whatever type of research work you will give them, they will publish it. They will not ask you to revise it or things like that. But actual good quality journals, they will ask you for revise your paper, to adhere to author guidelines, to referencing. They will ask you to do same. So there are different main reasons for research paper rejection. Unclear hypothesis. If you are writing a paper and you are not clear about the hypothesis you have used, so that leads to rejection. You have written a paper, but your hypothesis was not clearly written, was not clear. So it means that your paper is rejected. So basically, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is a proposition made about your this proposition made about or supposition made about your work, about some research problem. And basically, hypothesis, whenever you are writing hypothesis, you have to base it on some previous research. If we are writing some hypothesis in our paper, we have to base it on some previous research. And next reason for one of the main reason for rejection is research does not add value to the journal. It means if our research work is only, it is not contributing, not adding something new to already existing research work, then it is liable to be rejected by good journals. It should add something new. Then third reason for research paper rejection is manuscript not within journal's aim and scope. As I already told you, whenever we are thinking about publishing our work, we need to go through aims and scopes of the journal. If we have not gone through the aims and scopes of the journal and submitted our paper, so definitely it will be rejected. Then next is incomprehensible. Sometimes some papers are not written in a good way. There might be some grammatical problems, some spelling problems, or the research. This, whenever we are writing a paper, it should go in a flow. It should be something like we are talking to somebody. So it should go in a flow. But if it is not understandable, so then it is liable to be rejected. Then there is poor analysis. If you have not used proper statistical method or analytical method, then again it is liable to be rejected. And wrong research methodology. Your paper is good, your topic is good, your hypothesis is good, but your research methodology is wrong, then again it is liable to be rejected. So these are the main uh, points due to which our papers are liable to be rejected. So we need to take care of these things. As I already told you, that we, first of all, whenever we are submitting in journal, we have to say its aim and scope, author guidelines, right? So we have to keep that in mind. And while writing our paper, we have to follow those steps as already discussed. So the tips that I would like to give to all, and even to me, even I am just moving in my academic career. So the tips we all should follow. And those tips are that we should have a good academic record. We should have, so that we cannot change. We have already done that. And doctorate degree. So those faculty members who have not yet started their PhD, they should start it, because doctorate degree is very important if you are serious about your academic this career. So PhD degree is prerequisite for that. So those faculty members, those who have not registered, they should start their PhD. And another important is that research paper in good quality. We should have here, quantity doesn't matters, quality matters. We should have papers in quality journals, good papers in good journals. Then we should have paper presentation in international and national conferences or seminars. Why it is important? It is important because if we go into seminars or conferences, we get to know feedback about our paper, and we get to know about what work others are doing. And the best part of, we need to get to meet other people also. So socializing with this fraternity, so that is also important. So another important tip to advance our academic career is that we should focus on funded projects. So that is something that many universities, they ask you, okay, you have good academic record, you have good research paper, so have you ever done any funded project? So we should always try to go for funded projects. There are different funding agencies. There are semi-government, government funding agencies, and some universities, they also fund their researchers, teachers for doing some work. Uh, there are projects with UGC, ICSSR. So these are different funding agencies. So next is consultancy. So we should also provide consultancy to industry. So if we are doing our research work should not be confined to journals also. We should also provide solution to industry. Consultancy means we are providing solution to industry. That should also, we should also do this to advance our academic career. And then most important, we should have organizing skills. Organizing skills here, I'm saying that we should be able to organize different events. We should be able to organize different lectures, expert lectures. We should be able to organize different competitions, different activities for our students. So this is it. So thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity, Professor Irshad Ahmed. And I'm so thankful to School of Management. I'm so thankful that to see Abdul Hakim College Engineering and Technology School of Management for giving this opportunity. So if you have any questions, you can ask in chat box.
Hello, ma'am. This is Irshad here.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes,
Ma'am, we
sir,
have
I can
some
hear
few
you.
questions from the participants. Yes, ma'am. The
Yes.
questions are: how to publish research paper in ABCD journal? What are the necessary things to incorporate in research?
Okay. So ABDC journal, the same things that I've already discussed. ABDC journals, if we want to publish in an ABDC index journal, your paper should be of high quality. It should be a high quality paper, and it should be bringing something new. It should be answering some relevant question, and mostly it should be empirical, and suitable methods should be adopted. Suitable statistical methods should be adopted, and it should be on current issue. And basically, if you want to go for ABDC index journal, if we are if you are done any, we should always put our best paper there, because they only publish empirical papers, high quality empirical papers. And papers should be written as per the guidelines. If we have some target of a particular ABDC index journal, first of all, we should go to that website, see their author guidelines, and we should read some of the papers. how others have written papers. We should read that also.
Ma'am, we have one more question.
Right, sir?
Ma'am, ma'am, could you please tell me something about the structure of literature? It is by Mr. Sivan.
About
Structure of literature.
structure. Okay, so structure of literature. What I have noticed that initially we used to follow this chronological order of writing literature. So that is for good journals. We do not have to do that. For good journals, it should go into flow. Whatever we are writing, if you're doing a review of literature, uh, it should be written. If you are writing on a particular topic, all the literature related to that particular topic we have to quote there, right? We do not have to think here about this in to write in chronological order, or first initially there was this system of writing paragraph wise review of literature. No, we do not have to write this and this did this research in this year, and they found this. No, we do not have it to write like that. For review of literature, we have to take for example, we are talking about some topic. For example, I'm writing about ethical ideology, and I'm writing about ethical ideology and age. So I will start writing about ethical ideology and age, and what other authors, other researchers have to say about the same thing, right? So this way we have to go. Review of literature should go topic wise, and it should be a flow, in a flow.
And we
Yes, sir.
have one more.
Hmm.
What does the term citable items means?
All right. Okay. In impact factor, I told citable item means uh, how many. In short, citable item means how many papers were there in that particular journal, in that particular. How citable items are journal papers only. So citable item means papers published in that particular journal in that particular year. Okay, sir.
Yes, ma'am. We have one more question.
Mhm.
How to increase the H index?
See, H index, it depends on citation. So how many times our paper is cited. So the only way to increase that is by writing quality paper and publishing it in good journal, because H index is directly proportional to our citations, how many times our papers are being cited.
Okay. We have one more question, ma'am.
Mhm.
How should we write the points of summary of research paper?
Summary of research paper, points of some. So if when we have to write summary of a research paper, we need to write what was our aim, and what briefly what methodology we have used, and what was the result. And we need to connect our result to previous work. When we're writing the summary, we need to connect into the previous result, that so and so also did this work, and our results are consistent with that, or our results are different from that. So we need to write there. And while writing summary of our result, we need to, it is basically every main point has to be there. Our aim of the paper, our this aim of the paper, and research methodology briefly, and our analysis part and findings, it should be there.
Ma'am, we have some couple of questions. Is EBSCO is good journal index?
No, that's not, as compared to whatever I have this indexes which I have this listed in this my PPT, that is not that good, because I have seen most of the papers they have BESCO. That is good. That is on this middle range. The ones I have this discussed, they are on high range. So BESCO is in middle range.
Okay. And we have questions. And I want to know whether ABC journals are higher than Scopus Index journals.
Well, yes, but it depends. In ABDC again, they have rating. They have ABDC, ABCD A rate. There is A category, there is B category, there is C category, there is D category. So if journal is ABDC and it is in A category, then it is better than Scopus. If it is in B category, better than Scopus. But if it is of C category, then it is as good as Scopus on same level. So it depends upon which category it lies.
Okay. Ma'am, we have one question from Raghavendra Jadhav. If we publish work in a conference, do we need to forward the same to one reputed journal, or do we need to modify with one more result analysis, or add to some existing?
Okay, so the question is, first of all, if our paper is published with that journal, so it will be unethical to forward the same to some other journal. If our paper is published in conference proceedings, then we cannot forward the same paper to some journal. That is totally unethical. But if we have presented our paper in some conference, then we can publish that in some other journal, and we have to in good journals, they ask you, have you presented this paper? Then you have to mention it, that it was presented in this conference.
Okay. Ma'am, we have one more question. If we consider new, is what can be used from existing theories and explained in review of literature?
I'm sorry, please repeat the question.
Ma'am, the question is, if the construct is new, theory support can be used from existing theories.
Okay, if the concept is new.
Yes, construct.
Okay, if the construct is new, so and we can
be from existing theories. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
so and we can I'm sorry, your voice is breaking. You are saying if the construct is new and we cannot uh, if the construct is new and we cannot link it to existing this literature.
Theories.
Is this the question? Theories?
Theories. Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So in that case, if we are introducing some new construct, there should be some this basis for that. It might be on basis of you have done some this research work. The new construct that you have introduced it should be based on your research work, on your data you have done. You have designed some questionnaire on basis of interviewing. If that construct does not exist in literature, then you have to give this proof of this construct by, you have to tell that I have taken interview of some people, and on that basis I have developed this construct and have put this in my questionnaire, right? This way we can introduce some new construct in our this research work.
Ma'am, one last question from my own side, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
In this competitive world, there are so much competitiveness in research and publishing.
Yes,
How do we identify fake journals?
Fake, yeah, sir. I already told you, sir. The first thing, fake journals are those who ask for fee. But here we are. That is why I have this discussed different tools how to find journals. But the fake, there is first of all, their website is not that properly designed. They do not have proper indexing. They do not have indexing in good databases. That is the main part. And sometimes with these fake journals, they tell they are in Scopus. We need to check that also. Whenever we are forwarding our paper in some journal, we need to go to that journal, and we have to see it is indexing, and then go to the directory of indexes database, whether really it in that index or not. That we need to do. And moreover, there are certain ways we can point out their author guidelines are not that clear. And if they tell you, yes, we can publish in 15 days, in a 1 month time, then obviously they are predator journals. Because good journals, they take 6 months to 1 year for this publishing. I hope I have cleared your
Yes,
doubt.
ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. Yes,
sir.
ma'am. Yes. Okay, ma'am. I hope that probably we have answered all the queries which has been posted in YouTube chat history. Now it is time to thank. I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Manjeet Kaur for accepting our proposal, sharing in-depth perspectives and experience on the topic how to develop passion to get into successful academic research career. International FDP on innovative trends in the pedagogy of quality research paper writing and publishing in top journals. I request all the participants to stay connected with us. Professor Dr. Sunil Kumar Verma of School of Banking, Financial Services and Insurance, Symbiosis University of Applied Science, Indore, will speak on how to prepare research data using MS Excel, hands-on experience. We shall tomorrow resume back by 11 a.m. Thank you one and all. Thank you for joining us. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.